You can now follow me on all my social media platforms to find out who my latest guest will be. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you're notified for when my next podcast goes live.
Someone in their family sexually assaulted me from the time I was like 7 years old for like 10 years. I actually started therapy a few years ago because I thought, is the whole reason that I do this job because I'm like so messed up that I think that it's morally okay? And yeah, like every other man I feel has just like let me down. And now I'm like, if someone offered me 3 million to have sex with me, I'd be like, ugh, no, fuck off. Like if it's a 5-digit month, it's a bad month.
Boom, we're on. And today's guest, we got Emily Black. Emily,
Hi.
how are you?
Sorry, my hands are cold.
That's okay. Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you too.
Content creator.
Yes.
OnlyFans.
Yes.
OnlyFans is the main one.
OnlyFans is the main
We're
one.
very popular on TikTok, nearly 2 million followers.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of your videos. Your videos are funny.
Thank you.
But before we get into all the madness, I always like to go back to the start of my guests, where you grew up, how it all began.
So I grew up in like the centre of England, like in Derbyshire. So like in a little like village, like farm town kind of thing. And I always like wanted to not do a 9 to 5. 9 to 5 has never been for me. I don't understand how anyone could want to work from Monday to Friday and the only thing they look forward to is the weekend and then just to do it all again. It just seems like depressing. And then, yeah, when I was 18, I went to uni and I had absolutely no money. I was in loads of debt and my friend was posting a Chinese every night. And I was like, I don't understand how you make that. Like, how can you afford a Chinese every night? It's like a luxury. And then she told me she was a stripper. So I was freshly 18 and I was like, sign me up, I'll go and do it. And I actually had a boyfriend at the time and he was like, no, you'll be so good. Like, this will be so good for your confidence. I was like, okay. And I went there and I was really good, right? And yeah. And then I stopped that, went into camming for a bit and then OnlyFans. That's the summed up, but...
How were you at school?
I was at school. My mum was actually my teacher, so I was quite good. I moved from one school because I was bullied. I was really ugly. I was so ugly. Like, I think I probably would have bullied me too. But yeah, I was fine. I tried really hard. I got good grades. And then...
How bad was the bullying?
It wasn't awful. I think other people had it worse, but like it was bad enough that like I moved schools.
Even though your mum was a teacher?
So I moved to the school where my mum was a teacher.
Did that make things harder?
No, it actually made it so much easier because I've always been quite introverted. So at like lunchtimes and stuff, I'd just go in and have a cup of tea with her. I was proper like...
Loner?
Yeah, well, I had like a little group of friends, but we were all just like the strange people rather than like the popular ones.
How was mum and dad?
Or they split up when I was like 4, I think. And I had a stepdad. And I think my dad cheated on my mum, to be fair. Because after my stepmom died, my dad gave me all of her stuff and there was a diary. I don't know if that's like really bad, but I read it. And yeah, it was all about like their relationship. And I was like, you were with my mum then? But yeah.
So how, see, when you go through the bullying and stuff and then that, because it's a weird connection with the porn stars I've interviewed and all the OnlyFans girl, there is that daddy, can you understand the daddy connection? Like, is that a thing? Do you see that?
I don't know if I play on it a little bit, to be honest. I feel like I'm quite a well-rounded person, but there obviously is some depth of not having the bucket filled in the right places. Do you know what I mean? That's a really bad metaphor, but like, obviously I think every single one of the males in my life were like not a good influence.
Why do you think that is?
I I don't know. I think my stepdad is now, but I had two brothers who are older than me, and they were not very good. Like Joe, and people say they have big brothers, and it's like, oh, I won't mess with you then. Like my big brothers were not it. Like they could not do anything, and yeah, like every other man I feel has just like let me down in some way.
How does that affect you now?
I don't know. I think it definitely does affect the way I perceive men and work. I actually went through like a really difficult phase of thinking. I actually started therapy a few years ago because I thought, is the whole reason that I do this job because I'm like so messed up that I think that it's morally okay, and it's not. And I shouldn't actually want any of this. And like, it's not empowering. And like, I went through this whole massive thing, and then I kind of like talked myself out of it and became okay with it again. Cause I was like, no, like I am proud of myself. But I think the initial fear of that was there.
What was the main reason why you went to therapy?
It was actually because at the start of lockdown, basically my family's like best friend's family. Like, so my family and this other family were like best friends. We grew up together. They were like, someone in their family sexually assaulted me from the time I was like 7 years old for like 10 years. And someone in their family basically just asked me outright and was like, oh, I found this, like, what's that about? And I was like, and obviously I'd not spoke to anyone about it for the whole of my life. And so that's the reason I started going, because just out of this blue, this thing that I'd been holding inside since I was like 7 just randomly came out.
Who was it?
It was a family friend.
And it's for 7 years old. How long did that last?
10 years. Yeah.
Did you suppress all that? Hide from it?
Yeah. I just completely ignored it. And I was like still friends with them, because in my head, I was like, oh, well, if I say anything, no one's going to believe me. And I had Stockholm syndrome for quite a while. So I was just like, no, he just loves me. Like, this is just normal. And Joanne, like, you're a kid and everyone goes, oh, I like your childhood sweethearts. It almost like encourages you that behavior is normal, even though they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And yeah, it just got worse, I guess, until I got to a point I just don't.
You're being groomed?
Yeah.
How old was he?
He was a few years older. I think he was 4 years older than me.
Start a fucking paedophile.
Yeah, because
a sex case.
I'm pretty sure his taste hasn't changed. So I think I would actually be too old for him now. Like, even though we've aged at the same time, I think he would still look at
What sort of stuff was he doing?
Oh, like the full mile. Yeah.
From 7?
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody knew? No one knew?
No
No
one.
incline, no family members?
I actually told my mum one time, but like she just went, oh, I can't even remember what she said, but I think she just blew it off because she thought, oh, kids say funny things. Do you know what I mean? You don't, like, if your kid says that to you, like, you would take it seriously, but you don't expect them to even know what it is. I hadn't even had my sex education lesson yet. And you get your first one in year 2. Like, it just wasn't a thing in my head.
Do you hold anything against your mum for that?
I was angry at her for a long time, but I have a really good relationship with my mum, so.
Because I had a woman called Della Wright, amazing woman, 6 years old, she was getting sexually abused. This guy was babysitting. And again, it's that, where it's the Stockholm syndrome of the grooming.
Yeah.
She used to tell her to dance around all that shit, and the telltale signs were there, but the mum and dad was non-existent.
Yeah.
But my daughter's never has sleepovers. Like, I'm very protective, man, because I've spoke to enough people to know how fucking dark it is out there, and
I would not let my kids
and
have
that's the scary
sleepovers.
thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, so how did you get through that then? Like, has he ever been charged, or is it just...
I've never said it. And like, even since like, since that came out, I've never been to the police. I can't get myself to go to the police. Like, and so I spent a while going, I was still family friends with them. And because it was his mum who asked me, and I was like, oh, and I didn't know what to say. I was in his house. I'd completely put it to the back of my mind. And I was in his house, and his mum he was upstairs, and his mum was like, I found this. And I was like, how did you find that? Because it was like messages from 2016 on an old Facebook account of him trying to message me and me being like, I don't want this. Stop it, please. And yeah, and I was like, no, you've been looking for something, because like he's been accused of this before, kind of thing. And yeah, I found it really difficult. This was in lockdown 1, the first year of it, that this all came out again. And I was going back to a house every week or so, hadn't told anyone else, and I was just saying I just want him to get help. I want him to go to a therapist. I don't want to do anything. Like, I think I was still scared that he wouldn't like me, because like, I think that's how Stockholm syndrome works. And yeah, and then I kept asking to know how therapy was going, just so that I could know that he was going, because I was starting to have all these thoughts of, he's just like allowed out on the streets, and he's going to do it to other girls, and who's going to do it to. And like, I had a party once, and all my friends who were my age at the time, were in year 8, would all like come up to me and be like, oh, he's just locked me in a bathroom. He's been really creepy with me. Like, who is he? And I was like, I don't know. And yeah, like, I was having like a lot of like very intrusive thoughts about it. So I was like, okay, I need some answers. And they started ignoring me. Bear in mind, I've grown up with these people since I was like, before I was born. It was, my mum was friends with them years before I was born. Like, they went to school together. It was a really odd situation. They started ignoring me, started ignoring my family. And then 9 months later, I sent a message to both of the parents, and I was saying like, I just want to know what I did for you to basically abandon me when I needed you. And they both blocked me. Yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
What did the mum say when she found the messages? Was she concerned for you, or was she trying to hide stuff to protect her son?
She was concerned for me, but I think you're always going to protect your child first. And she was always like, I see you like a daughter. And I was like, okay.
But she's grooming you. She's manipulating you. Because what he needs is a fucking bullet to the head. Like, there's no denying it. Like, if he's doing that to a 7-year-old kid, they're the worst kind of people on this planet. There's no changing them.
No.
They need the death penalty. They need exposed, because if he's doing it to you, who else is he doing it to?
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Like, because for you to be abused at 7, be groomed and still feel that, like you say, Stockholm syndrome, does he love me, does he not love you?
Yeah.
You're 7.
I know.
You've not got the brain capacity to be thinking, even my daughter's 12, they've not. I see them as a baby.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a hard thing to say, like, because I've had plenty of survivors on who, I wouldn't say they blame themselves, but there's something in them where they still feel sorry for that person.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that connection? Like, would you put it all to the side if he was going to get help and just forgot about it?
I don't know. I don't know what I feel. I don't think I've
Still numb to it?
Yeah, I think it's still in the back of my mind, and I just like make a joke about it and I just forget about it. But like, as it was going on, like, I was in a very angry like headspace, because I felt like no one had listened to me for 10 years, even when I was like constantly trying to tell people in my own little way. And yeah, I remember one time she was like, well, the only way that we're going to deal with this is if you calm down and we act like adults. And I was like, but this is like 10 years of childhood he's took away from me. Like I can be angry if I want to be. And like, I remember one time I went round and I said, this is before she spoke to him and he went to therapy. And I said, have you spoken to him? And she went, oh, I was going to, but he's just got a girl that he really likes. And you know, like, this is the happiest I've seen him in a while. I just can't bring myself to do it. And I was like, you're letting him see another girl. I was like, but you know what he's going to do? He's been accused of this before. You've had the police knock at your door. He's done this to another girl my age. Like, I know for a full fact, this is what he's like. Like, I don't understand why you're not listening. And I knew that she had found those messages because there was obviously something to happen for her to go on an old Facebook account to find messages from 2016. Like, that's just wrong. And yeah, and when she said, has this person like done anything to you? And I said, yeah. She went, oh, he's always had this problem. And I was like, well, if you know, like, why haven't you got him help or, I don't know, locked him up or something?
You can't fix that tendency. You can't fix that mindset. Like I said, death penalty. Yeah. Harm my kid, dead. In Russia, harm my kid, life sentence. Yeah. Dead.
Yeah.
Australia, can't take their passport, take their driving licence. Here, if they abuse kids, they can change their fucking identity for 15 quid.
It's awful. It's so bad. And they're just allowed out.
Yeah.
It's just they don't want their lives to be ruined. It's like, why? Like, they've done it to themselves.
I took drugs for years, but it was my choice. Drug dealers are doing 15 years, 20 years. Yeah. Paedophiles are getting community service. Paedophiles are getting out and abusing more kids and still getting bail once, twice, 3 times. Like, nobody has to get abused.
No.
Drug dealers, people want drugs. They want the drugs, so they go and look for it. I don't agree with drug dealers and all that shit now, but it's just the laws here are fucking rotten.
Yeah.
So see, when you started talking about that and nobody listens, do you ever think in your mind, how old are you now?
I'm 22.
So still very young, so still very new.
Yeah.
Something you'll probably need to deal with for the rest of your life. But speaking out about it, going forward, I'll try to press charges, then give you the strength of what that does, give other people the strength to come forward. Like, you see, having sex with you at 7 years old, 8 years old. See, that's fucking sick, man.
Yeah,
I know. What I mean?
And I was saying this to his mum, and I was saying, you know,
Does she know the full story?
Yeah. And I was saying, like, I think I need to go to the police about this. And she went, okay, well, that's if they believe you. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, no one's on my side. Like, it was just a really odd situation. I think my mum was in denial about it for a long time, until they blocked me and like she fully realized the extent of the situation, because it's a really difficult thing to say to your parents. And then, yeah, I went home for the first time in a while the other day, and my stepbrother had apparently been invited round to theirs for dinner. And I was like, in what world, like, is that okay? Obviously he said no, but like, how on earth is it still in their head to do that? And it's like, it's still really weird, but like, so when I visit up there, I just go, oh, like, I know where they live. I drive past the house and then I'll be like, oh, I can't believe they got a new car. Like, I can't believe they're just living as if it's just like a normal thing to them. It's just really odd.
Do you find it more difficult now, though, if you've done stripper, if you're doing OnlyFans, then you lose the credibility to try and speak out? Like you say, she'll call you a liar, then you start doubting yourself and then the confidence gets lower.
Yeah.
Do you find it more difficult because of the industry you're in as well?
Not necessarily, but I think if it got to a point where I went to court about it, and I think their lawyer, they probably would have a lawyer, I think they would say, oh, look at what she does. Like, that's the whole reason. Like, this isn't like valid. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I do think it would, I think it's part of the reason, like, I haven't done anything about it, because I'm like, would they take me seriously? And also, the last time it happened was like a good few years ago. And like, it isn't like a black and white case, right? It's not like you go, oh, I met this random man and he did this to me and then he just left me on the street. Like, it's not like that. It was like 10 years of, we were still friends with them. Like, it was a family friend. And like, I've had the option to go to the police many times and I haven't. Like, it's a really complicated thing.
It's difficult for anybody to come forward and speak, because what if they don't believe me? What if you doubt yourself? It's easy just to forget it, but you can't forget it, because the healing process is admitting there was an issue there.
Yeah.
Sophie Anderson I had on, porn star, love her to bits, man. Mad as a box of frogs, like nutcase, but abused for 10 years old.
Yeah.
Selling herself for cigarettes and alcohol at 10 years old, men abusing her. In her mind, she thinks it was normal. In her mind, she says, oh, but I enjoyed it, I let it happen. You don't, because your brain's not fully grown.
That's what you're told is normal.
To understand that. You're being groomed, and I tried to say that on the podcast, and I don't think she understood it. I think she's been doing it for too long, that she just wants to forget about it. The porn and all the fucking sex that she does, and she says she slept with over 20,000 men. That's, for me, just a total escape for the girl, and you actually listen to her, man, she's such a good soul, but you can see the brokenness.
Yeah.
When did you realise it was what was happening was wrong, especially from a young age? If you've never been educated or don't know what's going on, was there a time where you thought, this ain't right here?
I think I think the guilt like always really got to me. I remember like in my head, it wasn't the R word. It was like, you know, we were just two people who loved each other, and that's what he kept telling me. So I always just thought it was a normal thing. But the guilt that was there from it happening, I was like, I shouldn't feel this bad. And I remember moving to my second house. My parents moved house when I was 9, and I remember going there and looking at the house and going, okay, I'm allowed to lock on my door. I'm not going to let it happen here. And like that, I think that was like when I realized like it's not right, and like I shouldn't have to think that as a 9-year-old for that to not happen. And like, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was just, there was always something in my head that was like, we shouldn't be doing this. Like this isn't okay. But I wanted his approval that I did let it happen.
How frequently would that happen?
Oh, we saw we grew up together. Like like we would go home together every day after school. We literally had our whole childhoods together. Our parents would like childmind all sets of kids if the other one was off, so we would see each other every day, if not every week.
When did this end?
When I was 17 was the last time it happened.
Still recently?
Yeah.
So it's not as if like, a kid at 11, a kid at 12, or at 12 and 13,
no.
It's okay, but if there's a 5-year gap between kids and that, it's not right.
No.
Do you know what I mean? We've all been to schools when there's first year, second year, it happens, but it's a fucking baby, it's a child, 6, 7, planting the seeds, he's 11, 12, and it's just wrong in so many fucking levels.
Well, there was gaps. Like, do you know, if he had a girlfriend, I would like...
Would you get jealous?
No, I would feel safe. Like, if he had a girlfriend, I would be like, oh, thank God, like, I could be in a room alone with him. I know it's going to be fine. And, like, it was like... But as soon as I heard they'd broken up, I was like, oh, fuck, like, this is it again kind of thing. And I knew that's when it was, like, a bit wrong, because it felt like I was, like, searching for this validation, but in the wrong way. And I think that's when it got to me that I was like, am I doing this for the wrong reasons? And, like, now I do it in a way that I love it, and I think I can find happiness outside of it. It isn't, my whole being is not OnlyFans and searching for this validation off men. I actually think it's like got to a point now where that validation to start with filled me up so much. I was like, oh, this is good. And then now it's like my standards are so much higher, because like people are like paying to come on and say nice things to me. Like, I don't need that from anyone. What I need is someone who can actually bonus my life in a good way. And like, I feel a lot more stable in the way that I view men now and how I view men interacting with me. And I feel a lot better for that. But yeah, for a good like year or so, I really struggled.
How was it talking about it at therapy?
Oh God, it was horrible. It was like, I still can't say like what it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, I still can't say he did this to me. Like it, because in my head, I'm like, I feel really guilty because I'm like, I can't believe I'm accusing him of that when it's like, well, he did it, but it's just a really odd thing.
So how's your trust issues then, like with men, especially in strip clubs, at OnlyFans? Like, you know yourself, the seediness and the darkness with men, they're creepy cunts, man. Like, you've got to be honest. Like, no matter if they're getting a fix, whatever, it's still quite creepy. Like, like, how do you then? How's your trust with men, women? Like, is it totally gone? Like, 'cause you seem quite level-headed as well. It's not as if you're not here and you're completely fucking broken. But how do you learn to trust? How do you build bridges with people? Do you find it hard?
I was actually fine with trusting people, and I feel like I put too much trust into people. And like, if someone came into my life and they were nice to me, I'd be like, oh my God, have everything, take whatever you want. Like, I just want you to love me, kind of thing. Whether it was a girl, a friend, a man, whatever. And I think especially recently, that's kind of like gone to shit. Like, I think everyone who I've had a friendship with, like, has, because of my OnlyFans, obviously, like, you have money and people know that. I don't know if it's the money. I don't know if it's me being like too nice, but like, it has kind of gone bad. Like, everyone's kind of used in some way.
Yeah, that's where the damage comes in. If everybody's always constantly using you, want a piece of something, just everybody's full of shit.
Exactly.
The best way to describe it is that we all talk shit. I talk shit, you talk shit. Like, we just kind of, like we spoke earlier, like, we don't know what the fuck's going on.
No.
We just, what's it all about?
Winging
like,
it.
Yeah. How long did you do the stripping for?
Only a few months. I was like freshly 18, and now it's like so fucked up to me. Like, 18's a baby. I can't believe 18-year-olds are allowed to do that. Like, I was so young, and I earned the most in the strip club that I was working in. And I'm pretty sure it was because I was young, and that's like disgusting to me. But I don't quite know if the same things that I found empowering then are still empowering now. It's like, I don't think, if OnlyFans went to shit tomorrow, I don't think I could ever go back to stripping. I don't think I could go back to camming, because I don't think I could have men watching me that predatory, like, and I think in stripping, especially, I don't know what it's like in the US. I think it's a bit better in the US, because like, you can dance on a pole, you'll get loads of money. In England, you get it purely from private dances. And it was just very odd place to be when you're that young. I had quite a lot of jobs growing up. Like, I always wanted to work. I always wanted money. I had 3 jobs when I was 17 and a college. I was fine when I was working. But then when I was in uni and I stopped to be a stripper and then a cammer, I think it was just a really odd place to be, because then you've seen, as an 18-year-old, your body can get you money. Like, you can, like, you have something as a woman that men will look at and give you money for. And you've also seen how easy it is to make money. So then from that, I literally, like, I had a boyfriend at the time, and I was like, well, I can't go back. Like, I need to do something to make this much money or more money.
Did you lose yourself?
I don't think I did then. I was very smart. As soon as I earned my first like 10K, I got a financial advisor. I put money for a pension. Like, I bought a house outright. Like, I had like a normal car. Like, it was fine. And I just had a nice little normal life. Like, it was just like, it was like a very simple life. And because I didn't grow up like mega rich, I grew up comfortable. We never went without anything, but it wasn't like we had loads of money to spare. I always had it in my head that I couldn't afford things. So like, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to cook. I can't afford a Chinese, right? But like, I did have money. And then I think it was, so I only moved to Essex in May last year. And I moved into a 7-bed house by myself. And I think this year has just like done me in a bit, because I was like, what? Like, I would be so much happier living in my tiny little house up north in a council estate than I am now, just because when you have nothing to work towards, when you have nothing that is, when you can't find contentment in everyday life, like that's when you do lose yourself.
It's funny then, why do we do it then?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you feel as if getting the big house or whatever it is, do you feel as if that's to try and heal the broken pieces?
It was actually to move closer to someone that I was working with.
Male or female?
Female. And then that went to shit as well. And then I was just kind of there. I didn't know anyone. In this job, you work from home. And it's quite lonely. Like you don't go out. You sit in your house. Like it's a nice job and it's like fairly easy. Don't get me wrong, but like it's not like you go to work and you meet people and you make friends. Like everyone in this industry, I bet as you've met, is like a little bit fake. So you can meet someone, you could be your best friend. You go home, they'll never speak to you again. Like it's just a bit odd.
What I've gathered is it must damage you mentally somewhere.
Yeah.
Now we can all portray it and I'm a businesswoman, I'm a businessman, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Even the male porn stars, their heads are gone.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of good friends, man. One does the gay porn, he says he's straight. He's also a bare knuckle world champion. Like, I'm never going to disagree with him, man, because they can fucking scrap, but it's just, it must do something to your psyche, no matter what it is. Like even all the drugs I drink, it must do something to your brain. It's a total escape for reality. What life is, I just don't know. But see, when you started making money in that, did you ever feel, are you ever happy? Your videos, you seem happy, but when the cameras are off, are you happy?
I was happier a year ago, like living back up north and like in a little house and like surrounded by good people, like who I've been friends with since before I had money. I think since I moved, it's mainly friends that I have now because like since I've met doing what I do. And then when you start a friendship or a relationship like that, it's that is already set there. They don't know you before you've had money. They don't care about you before you've had money. But I think it does damage you in some way. I don't know what way that is. I'll probably find out when I'm 50, but like, I don't think it's the most sane job to be in, but then surely it's damaging in some way to do the same thing every week through and through until you're 54 and you're not allowed to quit because you've not got enough in your pension yet. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you ever get scared you get caught up in it though?
Yeah, but I think I'm fairly good at like understanding when I need to take a break and when I need to take a step back and like ground myself a bit. And I am quite good at doing that. But I think it does get to a point where like it all gets so addicting that it's like, I don't know, like you'll see the money that you make and you're like, oh, that's really bad, need to make more. And then you'll push your boundaries a little bit to make more. And then you'll make more and you'll be like, okay, well, we've done that now. Like, we know we can do that. So we need to do it again. And then if it goes below that, it's like almost your value is linked to the money you're worth. Mm-hmm. So I think that's quite damaging.
That's it is. People value people on how many followers they have.
Yeah.
I know people with not got social media and the best people on the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
I know people with 5 million followers and they're fucking absolute wankers.
Do you know, I have dated people in the public eye, right? I vowed never to date someone who has a social media presence ever again. Because they're not sane, they're not normal. Like they think they're like God or something.
Yeah, it's so fake, man. Like,
yeah, all of the people that I've met, like YouTubers, like everyone wants to be in the YouTube industry. It's really odd industry to be in. Like the people are just a bit odd.
They are.
Yeah.
It's anybody with social media, you kind of got to be psychotic to be on it.
Yeah.
You don't know the damage that phones are going to do to us in 10 years. We're the guinea pigs.
Yeah.
It says they used to do adverts with doctors smoking 50 years ago, saying it was good for you.
Literally.
Because I can see my pinky and stuff bending down with holding my
I
phone.
know.
And it's just the technology and information that your brain's absorbing. Our brain spans are smaller than a goldfish now. Like we're not concentrating long enough.
I even find it like, even if I walk downstairs to go and get something, walk back up, I'll take my phone and then be like, why the fuck have I taken that?
Yeah.
It's really odd. And it's like, I, especially recently, have got into a situation where I'm like, okay, I'm not happy at the moment. I need to just put my phone to the side for a few hours and do what I enjoy. And then the anxiety about leaving my phone, because if I open my phone when I get back and there's something bad in my head, it's almost like I've done this thing that I enjoy. So there's something bad that's gone on my phone, that I've got a bad message, that something's happened or whatever. And it's like, it's really odd little like mindset to be in, is like your phone controls your whole life.
Yeah, it does. As well, life. Like, I used to go to the marches in London for people with all the lockdown shit and everything was going on. And I used to look around, and people used to be the boards, or be free and open your mind, but they're smoking joints, they're drinking, they're recording on a phone. They're so far from free, it's unbelievable. So I ended up stop going. So what's your relationship with your dad like now? Once he broke up, did he just disappear?
No. So we lived in a community house for a little bit. So me, him and my brother all shared a bed and a room for like a few years. He moved in, he found my stepmom. My stepmom lived there too. And there was like 14 people in this house, and it was fantastic. It was actually the best time ever. And then they bought a house and we moved in, and it was nice. Like he was a good dad. I think it was only when my stepmom got cancer that he stopped being as nice. He was always a bit of a dickhead, but like he was like fairly good.
What did your stepmom passed away? Is that correct?
Yeah. She.
Were you close?
Yeah, we were really close.
Feel protected with her, safe.
Yeah. She never had kids, so we were her kids. And she got cancer when I was 14, I think, and maybe I was 13. And she was actually okay for a little bit. But we just kept coming home. My dad would pick me up from school and we'd get home, and she would like be on the floor. She would have fainted, or she was quite poorly. And like there was a few times she like passed out because she had a brain tumor. So there's a few times she passed out in like really unfortunate circumstances, like, you know, into a pond or something and nearly drowned. But she was fine. She had a like brain surgery, and then she came home for a while. I left because my dad was like, he was just not happy. Me and my dad were not getting along. It was the time period where, as a girl, you start forming opinions, and men apparently don't like that. So I got to the point where I had to leave. My stepmom as well, she was on chemo and radiation. So I don't know if you've ever known anyone.
Yeah, my dad passed away with leukemia.
They get quite, not mean, but like their temper is like very short when they're not going to be happy, right?
Yeah, they're dying. They feel as if anybody in their deathbed always know they could have gave more.
Exactly.
My dad was dying, but I should have been the man. I should have been the one who took the reins and made sure everything was okay. Instead, I went the other way. I went angry. I filled myself with drink, drugs and violence because I was angry at not showing my dad that how successful I could have been. He always seen that I had something.
Yeah.
So when he goes and he sees your kid at your worst before he died, that also plays in your mind. So when they're going to be angry as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's such a difficult thing getting told that it's 3 months or 6 months, and no matter how tumours start or cancer start, we can go around the conspiracy route and shit as well with that. But did that affect you with seeing somebody you loved going through everything you've been through for the last 7 years as well? Did you ever tell her what was going on?
No, never told anyone. I was very close to my mum, like most of all, and I never told her. It's like I felt embarrassed. Like even when I told them after it came out, I was like, But yeah, so I actually ended up moving out. I left. Me and my dad had a really big argument, and I just moved out. I went to my mum's, and I didn't really speak to her again because I don't know if this is true, but I've been told that my dad told her not to speak to me. I don't know what's true and what isn't. I don't want to accuse him of something that isn't true. But then my family all came over from America, and we were going to go for like a carvery, and I was going to go with my brother, and it would have been the first time I saw my dad in a while. And he called up and he was like, oh, I'm really excited to see her. Like it's been so long. And he went, oh, who invited her? And I said, oh, my cousin. And he was like, oh, so he invited you. Like, it wasn't from my invitation that you came. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you invited me. And he just flipped and he was like, well, none of them want anything to do with you. Like, you have no rights to see your family. They're like not on a side that you speak to anymore. It was really odd about it. And then told us the wrong address. So we turned up at the wrong address and then turned up there. And then he came out and was like, oh, it's so nice to see you. Like, I'm so happy you're here. And I was like, this is really confusing. And that was actually the last time I saw my stepmom. And then she was in a coma for 3 months. So I didn't find out what happened after, until after. And the day I found out, my boyfriend actually cheated on me as well. It was a horrific time. So he called me up and he was like, hey, how are you? And I was like, bear in mind, I've not spoken to this man in like a year. And I was like, good, thanks. How are you? And you went, yeah, good. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. Susie's dead. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it was just such a shock. And I actually went to school the next day, just like pretend it didn't happen. And my friend who knew my family came up and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I heard. And then from then on, I didn't go to school for like 6 months. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, it's a very odd thing. But she, because she had a brain tumor, she kept fainting and she was smoking when my dad was asleep and she set herself on fire and then was in a coma for 3 months. She had to have like 50% skin grafts and her throat collapsed basically.
Fuck's sake, so she had a brain tumour, fell asleep smoking and burnt herself as well?
Yeah, it was really bad.
But again, as a 14-year-old kid, your dad shouldn't be kicking you out. Does he ever know what happened to you as a kid now?
No idea.
Why was he so angry towards you?
I think because I reminded him of my mum. I don't think he liked my mum very much, and I'm very similar to my mum. We have a lot of opinions, very strong-headed. Don't think some men like that.
Yeah, but you need to be in this day and age.
Exactly.
Or else you would not have got through the shit that you've went through.
Exactly, yeah.
So how does OnlyFans be your biggest money maker?
Yeah.
So how does that start? How do you go from stripping and then to OnlyFans?
So when I was camming, obviously it was like an internet thing, and a lot of cammers like have OnlyFans on the side just so they can have a bit of an extra income. And I actually had some people contact me and they were like, we can make you the next big thing. And they did, to be fair. I mean, like, there was a lot of bad things that came with that, but they...
Like what?
They were very much like, we made you. We own you kind of vibe. And I didn't realize, but when I was 20, I actually signed a contract that said, like, not only do I have to carry on doing what I'm doing, but if I stop, they can basically force me to carry on what I'm doing or pay as much as they think that I will earn to get out of the contract. Very odd. Yeah. So it was like
Did you look at the contract before you signed that?
I got someone to look over it as well, like a lawyer. And they were like, yeah, it's a bit of a shit contract, but like, go for it. But I didn't realize I was tied in for like 6 years. It was very, very bad. But I think that was just another thing where I thought, oh my God, this group of boys is like amazing. And it was just another, and it seems to keep happening. I'm fully by myself now. I don't have anyone helping me. Just got a few really good friends. But yeah.
Very gullible.
Yeah, I think very naive as well at the time. I think I'm a lot better now, but...
I think you're always looking for somebody to save you.
Yeah, a little bit. Probably the daddy issues.
Yeah, but every time you just got to keep your guard up.
Yeah.
And that's the sad reality. Like, I struggle with trust, and rightly fucking so, because every time I'm right anyway. So I just fly solo, do my own thing, and nobody can get hurt. And I don't get hurt. Yeah. Simple as that. Like, it's not like... Be protective. Oh, you've got to let people in. Fuck everybody else. Yeah. I'm 39, man. I don't need anybody else. I'm doing all right. Like,
no, 100%.
It's just, I've been through it. You're still fucking young, but you've been through enough now to go, okay, wait a minute, I need to question that. Yeah. Because everybody's nice. Everybody can come off and speak you off. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people come in and and then I remember. Yeah. Wait a minute. Like,
and I think this as well, because I would never do it. Yeah. I just expect that they would never do it, because why would they? No, so stupid.
You can't think that way now, because... Everything out there's numbers and money.
Yeah. And
that's all it is.
It's such a weird position to be in, like 22 and like have what I have. And then because I feel like I'm also like over generous. So if someone goes, oh, I'm having a really hard time, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, here's loads of money. And it's just fucking stupid. Like,
it's still nice to be nice. It's still nice to be generous, because if somebody's going to fuck you over, then do you know what? That is what it is. But
yeah,
you still got to keep your cards close to your chest. You still got to play the game.
Yeah.
Life's just a game of chess.
Yeah.
How do you play the
100%.
moves, man? You got to be in control. I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fully in control, because I know I've lived life long enough to know how to play the game.
Yeah.
That's all it is, a game. It's all bullshit. Like, as long as you, and when everything, the cameras are off, and then you can still smile from time to time and enjoy the finer things in life, then you're winning.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a 7-bedroom gaff in Essex or a fucking tent in the middle of England. Like, you can be happy anywhere. Yeah, it's everything's to do with this. Like, so see, when you started OnlyFans, like when you talk about people wanting to say we can make you this, make you that, like, how did they take 50%, or how does it work? Do they take 20%? Like,
yeah. So I've had some people take 50%. I've had some people take 20%. Yeah, very
like a pimp.
Not quite. So like, it's not. It's more like strategy about, this is like maybe how to do YouTube. This is how I would do like different social medias so that we can bring people to OnlyFans. So it's a bit different. So like a social media manager almost, rather than a pimp. And like, I think another thing, like with a pimp, it's usually, they'll go, you work on this, like you do this. And yeah, like I don't do anything with any other like guys. Like I know some girls do stuff with like a bunch of guys. Like there's none of that. So I wouldn't quite call it pimping, but I think some of the people got like too invested in like, we own you kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like very, I think they get like almost this God complex from it.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, pimp can be, it's not just somebody with a fur coat and it's got fucking girls standing at the street corner selling themselves. Pimps can be somebody working, McDonald's can be pimps.
Yeah.
People working for minimum wage where they're making fucking billions each year. Like, there's levels of it, for big corporations to anything from, there's just different levels of the pimp game. In my eyes anyway, I've interviewed Andrew Tate and he says it as well, that he's not even though he's a small pimp compared to some of the bigger companies who've got thousands of fucking workers earning minimum wage. You've got kids in India making night trainers, but they'll sell them here for 300, 400 quid. Like, they're fucking the top pimps. Do you know what I mean? But so when did you start trying to, because you're still fucking young, let's be honest, like, you're still a baby, man. Like, when did you start to understand that, wait a minute, I'm getting used here? If somebody comes in and helps your career and they've boosted it and they have genuinely helped it, by all means, they still deserve credit. They still deserve a percentage.
100%.
Sometimes what happens is people get too big for their boots and, wait a minute, I don't need them anymore, and cut them off. So potentially you could have been the bad side, because if they've helped you and says everything they're going to do, but yet you're thinking, no, because it's pound signs. No matter if you're sitting here all innocent and sweet, we're still fucking greedy.
Everyone's greedy.
Do you know what I mean? We always want more, because if we don't earn enough, we think, oh, there's no deliveries anymore, I need to work harder. So in that relationship, if somebody's built you up as well, you've still got to be careful who's in the right or wrong. It's your career, of course. You, by all means, you want to make as much as possible. You've got boxers now who are making all the money. Yeah, they've only get 20%. Yeah. So when did you realise, okay, I can make more myself?
It got to a point where I think management companies in general just get greedy. I think if they have one amazing situation, right? So like you get it once in a blue moon. You can have, the OnlyFans is saturated with girls now. Every girl has gone, oh my God, it's okay to do that. Great, easy way to make money. And only 1 in 50 will be big, right? And it happened that I was one of them people who luckily got big very quickly. And I think they then just went, oh, we want 50 girls. And they were getting like 8 different girls on a week. And they were all saying, you can work with Emily Black. You can do this. You can do that. And I was like, hang on, like, what does this give to me? Like, you're not putting me first anymore. I'm sorry. And it just got to a point where I was saying, like, I want to do more. I want to do this. I want to do this. And they were like, if I said, I'm really not comfortable doing that, they would go, I really think you have to think about the implications of that. Then you're not going to make any money. And like, it just got to a point I didn't trust them. It wasn't comfortable. And when you're saying to someone like, maybe you want to change the direction, like, and it's not supportive, I think it's all just a little bit, you start thinking you've not got my best interests at heart. Like you see the dollar signs, but I'm not earning as much as I could be, or like I'm not reaching my full potential, and you're okay with that just because you're now getting it from how many other girls?
Yeah, you're being used. They are pimps.
Yeah.
They are. When you break it all down, they're telling people what to do, what to wear, scenes to. They're calling the shots. They're not got your best interest for you to make more money. They're pretending to make you more money so they get the money. Like that's the way I see it. That's the way the business game works. It's all scams. It's all bullshit. It's all lights. It's all manipulation. Everything's bullshit. Everybody's got podcasts now. I look at podcasts and they've all got the majority have all got my previous guests, and that's all right sometimes. It can be flattering. But then it's just, you're thinking, like, in life, man, you be who you want to be. But fly solo, man. Like, be unique. If you ain't going to be unique, you ain't going to fucking get anywhere, because people see right through it. But if you're getting manipulated and going through all this shit, losing your stepmom, groomed as a fucking kid, your dad being a prick, let's be honest, like, when you're still only 22, like, how does it then affect you with anything you're doing in life? Or can you actually just try and get on with it?
I think a lot of the time I do just try and get on with it, but like, I think it's always going to be there. I think like you can't ever like push it to the side or push it to the back of your head. Like I think it's one of them things, like, you're absolutely fine, and then the 1 minute you're not, the whole world comes caving in. Do you know what I mean? And like, I think it was like in November, I had to have a month off because I was just like, I just can't. Like, I don't understand what's making me happy. I don't think I am content at the moment. I need to figure out what is like me, and like if what I'm doing on social media is what I want to be doing. Because in this day and age, everyone is doing the same thing, especially OnlyFans girls. You look on YouTube, everyone's doing a try on haul, everyone's doing spin the wheel. Like, you look on
spin the wheel.
So you spin the wheel, there's like little forfeits on it, and you're like twerk or bounce, or like you do something and you spin it, you go, oh, bounce, and you sit there and bounce. It'll get hundreds of thousands of views, but like, is it what makes you enjoyable? And like with OnlyFans, right, the one thing that makes it big out of everything, that makes people stay on there, is if they go, oh my god, I'm in love with you, like you as a person. It's like, yeah, fair enough if they go, oh, you're really fit, you look like you got good tits, they'll subscribe, but like, that's not going to keep them on. That's not going to make them fall in love with you. You've got to have like a whole persona where they genuinely like you for them to want to subscribe and to stay there and to be an actual follower, not just, I want to wank every now and then, right?
It's still fucking creepy though, isn't it? Like, you think about all the porn sites, like 80% of stuff online in porn is abuse.
Yeah.
Has girls been abused?
Yeah.
Pornhub's putting fucking kids on. Like, that's a website that should be shut down. Like, it's unbelievable, the method of thinking, and with the perverted mind. And listen, I've been a man. I've been a fucking bit of a boy back in the day. Like, I understood it.
Yeah.
But now I understand what I put in here, what can affect it. Watching porn and stuff, it darkens the amygdala, makes you depressed. Like, all these men are struggling, and you're being the therapist, 22. You've got, what's the oldest man that's on your OnlyFans?
I don't know. How would you say the oldest man is that's on my OnlyFans? The what? Oldest man that's on my OnlyFans.
Late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you say if it's an old man on your OnlyFans? Like, what kind of conversations get struck up?
God, it can be anything from oh my god, I had this, I don't know if I can say it because it's probably going to watch it, but I had this guy who like basically messaged me and he was like, you've cheated on me. And I was like, what? And he was like, you've cheated on me. I can't believe you've done this. And I was like, hang on, what? And he was like, and I was like, oh, haha. And he was like, this isn't funny. Like, how are you going to explain this? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, fuck, like, this is bad. Like, we're not together. Like, I can't be with you. And like, it's also some people like message and be like, okay, so how much for a meetup? And I'm like, this is an online, like, no, just that's not, like, I'll be here to fulfill you whatever needs you want, but like there's no crossover of boundaries. It's can be very odd. But
money you get offered for meetups is insane. He was offered 20k for like lunch the other day.
yeah, but like then sometimes people be like, so you won't sleep with me for $1,000? I'm like, fuck. Like, and I think it's got to the point as well. Someone could offer me anything and money doesn't have the same value anymore. Do you know, when I was 18, I was so sad that I didn't sell my virginity, right? How fucked up is that? Because I heard that someone sold their virginity for 3 million. I was like, if I just did that, I would be fine. Now I'm like, if someone offered me 3 million to have sex with me, I'd be like, ugh, no, fuck off. Like, there's not enough money in the world. Money does nothing. Like, money gives you freedom, and I'm really lucky to have that freedom. And I'm in a really beneficial situation where I don't have to worry about money. But like, what does it give you? Like, what is it going to buy you that's actually going to make you happy?
What's the most you've rejected?
Oh, I don't even know. Probably not that much.
Have you ever been offered to go to Dubai?
Not for the porta potty situation. Nah, that I've never been
How
offered
true
that.
is that? All that shit and all the stuff that they do over there?
Oh yeah, I believe that 100%.
Yeah, and people have told me, man, and all these girls think they're big balling on their Instagram blue tick, and they've just been fucking shat on.
Oh, the thing is as well, they don't just shit on you, like they beat you. They have such perverted like fetishes that they will like do whatever to you, and then they'll be like, here's 20 grand, make it better. That could fuck you up for life. Like I think this is a whole thing. Like at this point, I don't want to damage myself anymore. And if someone does the slightest thing wrong in my life, I'm like, you're out, bye. Like, I don't want to know you anymore. And
Yeah, you've got to protect yourself.
yeah, because
What age did you join OnlyFans?
20, I think.
So still recently new.
Yeah.
What was it like what's the difference from OnlyFans and webcamming?
It's a lot safer. Webcamming, I got very addicted to the money very quickly. So I knew if I was just sat there talking, people would just send money for no reason. Like just for you sat there. You didn't have to be naked. You didn't have to say anything. Like they'll just send you money. And it was like, it was nice. And it would get to a point I would earn $1,000 a night and I would refuse to get off until I earned $1,000. Like, yeah, it was just like, I think at one point I spent 3 months, like 8 hours a day without a break. I wouldn't see anyone. If I went to see someone, I'd be like, I can stop for a cup of tea, but I need to go home and work. And they're like, why? And I was like, shut up, like, let me make money. Because it was the first time in my life I'd ever had like that amount of money. And I knew that it was possible to get that amount of money, that I was like, life just got made so much easier. All them times where I was like, I think when I moved into the house that I was first coming in, I really had to work out, okay, if my friend drops out, I have to pay 10 grand for the whole year. I have to somehow make that work. And then I found out I could make that in 10 days. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like it's like a life hack, but it is kind of damaging at the same time.
So why is OnlyFans safer than webcams? Is it not the same?
Oh, I don't know how people do it, but they can like track your face or something. I got like someone messaging me. They took a picture of my house, right? And they sent it to me and they were like, I know you're inside. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, sorry. I had a boyfriend at one point, and when we broke up, I had like someone text me being like, just be very careful. Your ex-boyfriend is saying that he will let people into your house for £20 to just like do whatever to you. And I was like, what the fuck? That's why I had to kind of move out of that town, because it was like so unsafe. And with OnlyFans, one, you can do it from wherever. So I could put a picture up at home and people are like, oh my God, she's at home now. They don't know where I live. and then I'm actually here. Like, it's behind a barrier where you're not live. People can't see what you're doing right now, where you are right now. Like, it is a lot safer than camming, and camming is a lot safer than stripping.
So you've just been doing OnlyFans for over 2 years. Seeing you start building up the subscriptions, like,
Yeah.
how's that feeling? Like, is an excitement when the money's coming in, or do you still feel it's not enough?
It was to start with. It was really exciting to start with. I got like really excited when I hit like 66 subs. I was like, oh my God, like I'm famous. Like, what the hell? And then now it's I don't think anything from that side will like ever be enough. Like, you're constantly chasing more. But I think like just what you were saying before we sat down, I was like, the power of now, like, you have got to be present. Like, as long as I invest wisely, then it's always going to be enough. Like, you just have to find happiness in other places that aren't work to then see it as just a business. But I just think because it's such a personal business, like, it's someone seeing you at your most vulnerable state. Like, that's what makes it so personal.
What's a normal day like on OnlyFans for you?
What do you mean? Like,
Is it planned when you wake up in the morning? Like, what's your daily routine like with it?
So I have like a plan every day of what I'm doing on like all social media. So like, say one day I'll film loads of TikToks and then like post like 3 or 4 a day from then on out. I've got my professional TikTok as well, where I'll do the same thing on there. On OnlyFans, it's like you have like extra videos. So they sign up, they pay a fee, and then there's a certain amount of stuff on the wall that they can just see for free. They can message you for free, like, and then they can also buy like, more explicit content, right? And that's where like the more money is. And yeah, like, so I try to send out one of them a day. I don't necessarily film a new one of them every day, like maybe once a week. And then that's basically it. A lot of it isn't planned. I'll maybe take like bulk content, so like a bunch of different lingeries. Sometimes I'll be out and traveling. I'll just take a few cute pictures and then like post them. Like, it's like really like quite easy stuff.
What sort of stuff? Is it different levels of people who subscribe? Like different things that they get, like videos,
No.
stuff like that, and it's all you who does it yourself?
Yeah.
So there's no male, female, and a lot of girls have sex with men, sex with women. They do fucking all the mad stuff.
No.
So how did you build up a successful OnlyFans by just you? Is that with TikTok, YouTube? Does all that stuff then help?
Yeah. And I kind of have to think, right, so when I very first started out, like a bunch of stuff got, like my auntie actually sent like a bunch of stuff to my stepdad. And I was like, ooh. So I've got to be really careful. I've got to think, that's the worst case situation, right? What would I die if they got sent it? So I just wouldn't do anything that would be like detrimental to myself in that situation. Everything else, I'm like, they know what I do. Like, it's fine. Like, they've seen the worst of it. It's all good now. So like, but yeah, it's just, I don't know how I got successful just doing like solo stuff. There is stuff like with other girls on there, for example, but it's not like crazy shit. Like,
yeah, hardcore.
Yeah, it's like we'll be doing stuff but like next to each other, or like, do you know what I mean? It's not like we're full on finger blasting each other or something.
Some of them are fucking nuts on it. I had a girl, I can't remember her name, a couple of weeks ago, OnlyFans, and she's got big tits, and but they go full steam ahead, man. Like, there's no fucking about that.
I subscribe to a few girls because like it's really good to see what other people are doing. Like, if your content is getting like, you know, like the samey. And I've subscribed to a few girls, and sometimes I'll see what they post and I'm like, fuck, like you're bold, but
they're doing it for the money. This is what I'm saying, where you can lose yourself. Then when do you completely destroy your mental sanity for money?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how many men do you speak to a day?
Oh, I'd say I get a good few hundred messages a day that I'll just send.
And you have to reply?
Yeah. Engagement's like really, really good to have on there. If you lose all your engagement, people are going to stop interacting with you, and that's where you keep people.
Do you ever get anybody getting angry that you don't reply?
Sometimes, but I'll only not reply if someone's being really weird. Like, God, you do get some odd people on there. Usually everyone's fine. It's like really normal things, or like they'll be like, oh, I have this weird fetish, like feet, and it's like, oh, that's a normal one, that's fine.
Yeah, why is the feet thing normalised now?
I have no idea, but apparently I have nice feet, so it's working for me. It's going great.
What is that with the feet thing now? I don't get it.
I don't know.
It's not something you look at and go, nice feet.
Apparently people do though.
And it's fucking weird.
And I don't think
there's weirder ones.
Yeah.
Definitely there is a lot.
Do you know, I had someone, I don't think they're going to watch this. I don't know what's okay and what's not, but he was like, he wanted a custom video, and they're like the most expensive thing you can buy, right? Because it's a custom video. And he was like, can you please like take your retainers out? And I was like, yeah, like, and he was like, yeah, that's it. Just take your retainers out. I was like, okay, sure thing. No, I've literally got loads of pictures on my phone of me like with my retainers out, just a bit of slobber on it.
How much did they pay for that?
That one was $300 for 1 minute.
300 quid, are you pulling a retainer out? I need to get myself on OnlyFans, fuck's sake. Because I had, who was it I had on? Had the webcam business.
Yeah.
And the guy was paying her to eat jelly babies and pretend it was him, but keep the last jelly baby and pretend it was, and then he was sitting having a wank. Like it is disturbed shit. And who did I have on? It was Elle Brooke, actually. She was on, and people were pretending they're brother and sister and that. Some incest shit. And the girl I had on a couple of weeks ago, the guy was in like a kid's room and that. Like there is some darkness there. Like,
yeah.
Like, why do you think people are paying for OnlyFans? Like, if porn's free out there, like, what's the turn on about it? Obviously, it's the girl next door kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's my whole vibe as well. Like, I think so. You've got to imagine, right? It's not the same as porn's free. Why don't you just go have a wank? It's a whole relationship to some people. Like, if you're the loneliest you've ever been, and you get home and you can just go, oh, no one's excited to talk to me. Well, like I am. Like, you can sit and like message me, and then you'll get a reply really quickly, and I'm on constantly, and I've just be sat there like typing away. Do you know what I mean? And then not only that, but you could have a sexual relationship with this person where they're sending you live videos, where they're sexting you, like, and not only that, right? It's not just this random person. The whole thing about social media and doing OnlyFans is you're like this celebrity in people's heads. Imagine you're like number one celebrity in your head, right? Say if your like mad crush is Megan Fox, and Megan Fox makes an OnlyFans, and you get to go on there and have a relationship with her and like speak to her every night. And not only that, but she wants you, and like she's sending you videos of what she's doing. It makes it a lot different to just, I'll go on Pornhub and just have a wank. Like it's this whole...
I understand it, but it's fake, isn't it? You're not going to say that because they want to lose subscribers, but my method of thinking, obviously, maybe 10 years ago, obviously you go old, I don't know, testosterone and that's dropped a bit, but the method of thinking and the seediness and the perverted fucking ways, male and female, like, there's everything, even with sex, it's a sexual energy exchange. Like I started looking into the soul and all that shit, and I go way deep to understand how can I improve, how is this semen retention, like it's all fucking weird shit that I look into, but there's something in it, the energy exchange, there's something in the connection. Like even when I look at every porn star, it's their eyes, I see them, there's nothing really behind them, if you know what I mean. And that's the scary thing, like if you're only doing it solo, but do you ever get scared that you could be tempted? There you go, listen, there's 5 million quid. It happens. Like, I know you can shake your head, but you've already came this far by doing what you've done. Yeah. There's always temptation there. Okay, 100%. I can retire, but before you know it, but you're not.
I think the difference is, if you'd have said that to me, if you go 5 million quid on the table right now, you film like a full-on sex tape with 3 guys and you do this, I'd have gone, fucking give it to me. Right? Now, I think it's got to a point where it's like, okay, I feel like I've gotten to like where I'm doing incredibly well. If I saw myself a few years ago now, I would go, I can't believe I'm there. Like, that is mental. I was on like, 12 grand a year a few years ago. And like now I'm here, and money has a different value in my head to what it did. It's not, if I just have money, it'll fix everything. The grass is never greener on the other side. Like, the grass is green now, and you need to like have that as it is. And you need to do things that actually empower you, rather than just like thinking that if you just do that, you'll be happier. If you just do this, you'll be happier. Like, you're not. You need to make yourself happy now. And if you're not happy now, either like something needs to change, or you need to get yourself to a point where you are content, because like the money is never going to fix things.
What's the worst thing you've seen doing OnlyFans?
Oh God, what haven't I seen?
The Disney man. He messaged me. Yeah, I'll show you after this.
Mickey Mouse?
Please tell him the Disney man.
Have you got my phone?
Yes.
I can show you.
Yeah, what happened?
He found me off of your Instagram.
Oh no. Yeah. So I bet he loves that I show this to everyone. I did it on ITV as well.
So what was it? What's the worst thing you've seen?
So might not be the worst thing I've seen, but it's definitely the funniest. And this guy basically sent me, he on Instagram, right? He didn't even pay to send me this. Ew. And he like messaged me, and he was like, hi, I just want I just want you to laugh at me. And he's basically made Disney characters and then put his micro penis as their nose. But the drawings are actually fairly good, which makes it even worse.
What, so he draws around his bobby just with Disney characters?
Hang on. Where can I find it?
I need to get him on the podcast. Mickey Mouse dick.
Honestly. But he... Oh no, I'm going to be so... Oh, here we go. Okay. So, and he's given like a label at the bottom. So this is Winnie the Pooh.
How small is his Becker, man?
Do you want me to show you his actual
looks like a wee pig.
Yeah. It's like a little butthole. So then let me show you his actual...
How small is his Becker butt? It's like a...
Oh, but this is the potato head guy. Stitch. Yeah.
So he draws wee pictures and puts his pecker through his nose?
Shrek. Yeah.
Let's see the Shrek one.
Mike was asking Elsa. Why
Let's
Elsa?
see the Shrek one.
Right. I have a picture of his dick somewhere. I can't show that online because I'll probably get done for something, but they were unsolicited, so like what did he expect?
Yeah, it can be anybody. So he puts his willy through the paper and draws a cartoon character.
Don't show the
I love that.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, my lovely love heart-shaped balls for you.
That's the smallest willy I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Not that I've seen many willies, but I know what it should look like. So how old is he?
I have no idea. He's sending me randomly on Instagram. Like, I have no idea who he is. He was just like, hi, mistress, can you laugh at this? Fucking, laughing at them is my favorite thing to do, but it seems that all men who have micro penises like them laughed at. But if you have a micro penis, what are you meant to do other than be laughed at? Like, you can't just be like, no, it's really big, I promise.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So see, how can you look at men like outside? Can you and think like, because they're all full of shit. Like I will say that, but how can, when the industry you're in, the shit that you've been through as well, how can you look at somebody? How can somebody be speaking to you and you think, or do you feel gullible again, where it's a possibility, or do you just totally guarded with
totally
seediness?
Yeah, no, and I feel like as well when I was younger, or like not even very long ago, but during, like, I'm sure you've told your daughter, right? You go, no, men only want one thing. Like, be careful. You go, yeah, I'm like, okay. And then you go, no, he likes me. Like, he actually likes me. No, they fucking don't. They don't. And it's like every single man, like, when me and Grace travel alone, right? Wasn't it a fucking parade of them? It was awful. Like, the men, there was a man at the desk, and like, we were just wanting to go through. We had an hour until we were boarding, right? And there was an issue with our tickets. He was like flexing his muscles on the phone. He was like, he was like being like, oh my God, yeah. So like you have Monzo business. And we were like, just give us the tickets, like chill the fuck out. His friend came over and they were like, doing this it's just a bit weird. And like now every time I come into contact with anyone, I'm just like, I feel like, you know, like a bit odd. And I feel like it has ruined my perception of some men.
Of life.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of married men relationships that come in your OnlyFans?
Yeah, the amount of people, but I never know what to say because I'm like I'm glad you're here, but like you should be with your wife.
It's a form of cheating.
Yeah, I think if I had a boyfriend and I'd found out that they'd got someone else's OnlyFans, oh, like I would not be happy.
It's a form of cheating. I even messaging girls back on Instagram, or a girl messaging boys back. It's a form of cheating. It's an interaction. It's no different from a WhatsApp message. But we're living in a day and age where it's acceptable. That's why relationships break down so easy. Yeah. It's too easy to meet somebody.
It is so. And do you know what the other thing is? It's very damaging towards everyone's mentality, guys and girls, because with TikTok, with Instagram, you can now see hundreds of thousands of people where it's like, where they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, they face up themselves, like they are this level of people. So when usually you'd go down to your local pub and you see someone, you go, oh, they're all right, they're nice, you know, we'll have babies, right? You can't have that anymore because like everyone's ugly to these hundreds of thousands of beautiful people that are face apped and edited online. Do you know what I mean?
It's scary because the amount of porn and stuff people consume in a day was our fucking ancestors never even seen in a lifetime.
No.
It's so damaging to the brain. Our phones are so damaging to whatever this amazing thing is we've got up here, and we just destroy it.
It's not even like phones though necessarily. Like when I was in Amsterdam, I went to one of them sex shows because I was like, I really want to see this. It's going to be amazing. Some of them were. And it was like women doing crazy shit and it was great. And then there was like an actual sex scene at the end. I am not shitting you when I say the guy probably had to take a Viagra and he was like just like fucking her and the girl was like and she like the guy was like fucking going and I was like, oh my God. I was like, we had to leave. I was like, this isn't enjoyable. Like I can tell she doesn't like this. Like that's not nice. That's what I mean. Like I bet when she first started doing that, I was really empowering. She was getting loads of money. She loved these people looking at her. And now it's like, fuck. Do you know what I mean? It's like not. Yeah,
it's not a turn on anymore. It's not an attraction. But that's anything in life. Consistency with it can be damaging. It can be boring.
Yeah.
Because change is always important. When was the last time you cried?
Probably yesterday. I'm a crier. I cry everything.
That's why I asked. You don't seem it. Even when you're talking about the past and stuff, do you feel as if you try and be brave about it all, which is important, but do you feel as if that you're guarded with a lot of the dark stuff and you probably cry at the most stupidest thing?
Yeah. I feel like if I was to cry, it'd be like a full on like breakdown of a wall that like wouldn't be ready to break down. Like even when like with my like when my stepmom died and everything, I think that's why I just isolated myself for like 6 months. I didn't go to any lessons. I like taught myself at home and like I did really well on my GCSEs. And then afterwards I was like, I don't want to speak to anyone. Like even now, like I've never been a social person, but like, I feel like I'm good with people, but like the thought of going out or like going to something every week, like a little club or whatever, where I could like meet people. I'm like, I don't want any friends. Like I have enough friends. I have like 2 or 3. But I feel like everyone's out to hurt me. So it's like quite difficult to get past that.
No, but you can understand that because you have been hurt. Every man that's come into life has fucked you over, especially the ones who should have been there the most.
It's not even
your father.
Though. Like all men, yeah, but like as girls as well. Especially in this industry, it can be really damaging. I've known quite a lot of girls who are like quite damaged, maybe in their own way, maybe from this industry, but like how they've treated me has been just as bad, if not worse, than the men because they've not had that want of a sexual desire. They're just hurting for the sake of hurting.
But hurt people.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Like, at a young age, like, you've got to get that right. Like, if they're broken, it's not that they're necessarily bad, it's just all they know.
Yeah.
It's all they know, and that's the scary thing. And I always say that, but if you're hurt, you tend to see anybody that comes around you, you hurt them as well.
Yeah.
Until you take the reins, until you go and get help, until you try and make changes to then see the world differently, better your life.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about it. You can fucking make the changes to then do whatever the fuck you want,
Yeah.
but it takes time, it takes years, man. Like, it's just, so when people are hurting you, male and female, like, then how do you just become a recluse from your the whole fucking existence? Just sit in your house and make content?
I don't know. Like, I think at the moment I am, but I think that's because I'm in a state of, like, for a long while, I was like in a really bad state of, I feel like my friends are like dropping off like flies. And I'm like, do you know when you see someone with no friends, you go, but who's the issue? Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, why have you got no friends? It's like, I have friends, but I'm usually the person to be like, to wonder that about people. So when my friends are like dropping off like flies, I'm like, am I the reason? Like, am I the bad person? Am I, like, is there something going on that like I can't handle, like anything? And I think it's like really difficult to come to the conclusion that that isn't the case, and I'm not a bad person, and these things like are happening. Like, they're just not my friends. If they're hurting me, they're just not my friends. It's not anything that I've done. It might be letting them take too much before they've really crossed a boundary, and then me saying, don't do that. But like, I think that's the hardest thing. And I think I'll get there. I think at the moment it's a bit of a difficult one to not be a recluse. But like, I think it's just like
safer, innit? Sometimes.
Yeah.
How many subscribers have you got to OnlyFans?
Like around 10k.
How much is that a month?
Oh,
Is it all different packages?
It's not different packages. So like, it's $25.
Fucking mad, innit?
It's $25 a month, but like the first month is always half price. And yeah, like once you subscribe, you pay that set price, and there's thousands of like media posts and videos and photos and everything you can see, and then obviously messages on top of that. If it's a 5-digit month, it's a bad month.
So 10,000 subscribers, 25 quid. So if you're making 5 figures a month, it's a bad month. And 6 figures is a good month.
Yeah.
Have you ever made 7 figures in a month?
No, I've not had $1 million month. No.
It's doable.
It's doable, but then this is the other thing. Like, it's like, okay, if I was to have a 7-figure month, like, it would be amazing. But then would I just want that every month? Would I just be like chasing this constant high that I'm not going to get?
You're already chasing it though.
Yeah. I think everyone's constantly, the whole point of life is people are looking for that feeling of good. Like, they're looking to be happy.
We want to feel accepted.
Yeah.
But even the men, you'll be manipulating them.
Yeah.
They know this. You know that. Is it? See, do you feel that sense that you've got your power back when you've got so many men who would do anything for you? If you know what I mean. Maybe
it's like this whole sense of a God complex I'm unaware of.
But that's what it's like, though.
Yeah.
You've got fucking 10,000. You've got an army there, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is it? You've got 10,000 men. Like I say, it's like an army. Like, do you have? You've spoken. Well, you clearly have. But what's your boundaries?
I won't do porn, like full on hardcore porn. I do stuff by myself. I obviously, because of everything, I have a very interesting relationship with sex. So I struggle with it sometimes. I struggle to like make a new video sometimes. So like, there's been like a few months where I won't make one because I'm not in the headspace to, like, I don't want to pretend that I'm enjoying it. Like, I have to be in a mood to be like, oh, okay, I can do this now. And I don't want to ever do it if I'm not comfortable doing it, because what's going to happen is I'll film it. It's happened before when I've been with like past management where I've filmed it because they've been like, we need a new video every week. And I filmed it, and then a few days later I've gone to edit it and I'll be like, I look so sad. Like, I'm not putting that out. So I'm always having to do things when I'm comfortable. And I think the other big thing is like, it's really difficult to remember when you're making the money. But like, say if you have, for example, 100 grand in a month, right? Say if you were earning 50 grand in the month, is that month, is your quality of life going to be changed with 50 grand less? What were you going to do with that 50 grand? Like, what did you need it for? But then if you have a 25 grand month, are you actually spending 25 grand in that month? No one, I don't know of any fucker who spends 25 grand in a month. Like, I think I have the smallest outgoings ever. Like, I spend it on my dogs.
What dogs you got?
I got 2 whippets and an Italian Greyhound. They're just weird fuckers. They're really odd. They're fast, but they're really odd. Like, I've got the Italian Greyhound Piggy is like the weirdest dog you'll ever meet. It's like, he's like a cat velociraptor thing. And I spend a lot of money on them. I like to travel. Like, but I did have the conversation with my mum the other day. I was like, when you're younger, I was like, money would never change me. But I think it does in like really odd ways. And it hasn't changed me in the way that I'm like, I now think I'm better than everyone and like no one's at my level and like, you know, I can't ride on a bus. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's changed me in a way of like seeing the world more complex. And I think it's really interesting when you have a normal job, you go, oh, I can really work for a promotion, or I can work for this, or I'll be happy if I get this. And it's a really odd thing now to be like, okay, what now? Like, it feels like there's almost this tick list of life, right? So you grow up, you get a house, you get a dog, you get a boyfriend, like, or a girlfriend or whatever. You go on holidays, you have kids, get married, die. It's like, what the fuck is the point? Like, you gotta just like do whatever you like actually want.
The Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
But it's I think people say money changes people. It doesn't. It just shows they're more under the spotlight, because what happens is if you're a good person and you make money and make more money, you're still a good person.
Yeah.
If you're a wanker and you make money and you're just a bigger wanker.
With money.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think people say, oh, you see your true colours. You probably do, but the person's still the same. The money doesn't change them good or bad. It just, they're still that same person, just with a bigger car or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I know people weigh money and they're good people, but ask them the question what the fuck's it all about, and they don't know either.
No.
Alfie Best, that billionaire gypsy, that still gets up and works every day.
Yeah.
Says, why should I stop?
Yeah, but everyone needs like a purpose. You need a purpose. Like, I've recently been thinking like, oh, maybe I need to go and volunteer at like an animal sanctuary or something, because I need that like consistency of like a normal life. Like, everyone needs it. And it's really hard. Do you know, if you say to someone who hasn't got a lot of money, if you had $1,000 or like $1 million or pounds or whatever right now, what would you buy? They'd be like, a house, a really flashy car, and a yacht, right? No, you wouldn't. You get to a point where you can afford a yacht and you're like, what the fuck is the point in a yacht? Like, I can't even swim. Like, it's just a really odd like concept. And it feels like now I've got a house that I own outright. I've got 2 really nice cars, which I'm selling because I'm like, what the fuck is the point in having nice cars? Like, I don't like driving. And it's like, I'm living in this like big fancy house that I want to move out of because it feels too big. It's like empty. It's a bit lonely. And then it's like, it feels like you've ticked off all the things, and then you're being like, okay, well, what now? It's like you've completed this game, and then you're at the end bit, whereas there's no more quests to do. You're just like in this simulation of being like, oh, I can just like go around and like spend bits of money. It's really odd. Like, you've got to constantly find something that's giving you more joy.
It's fucking difficult though, because people have not got enough time. They've either got to work, get the kids from school, make the dinners, clean the house, up in the morning and do the same routine. So it's hard when you're in that loop. 99% of the world are in that loop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's so hard. Like, human beings in a whole are just struggling because they don't know what the fuck is going on, man. They're just following the agenda, the rules from the government, who genuinely do not give 2 fucks about you. Like, see, when you're in this life then, like, when do you how can you then separate what's real and what's fake? If you're a recluse and you're doing this shit for 10,000 men following you, and then it's not real.
No.
But it's your world just now, but how can you...
If it feels real to me,
Yeah.
because that's the world that I live in. But I do find it, I don't...
But it is a bubble.
It is a bubble.
Do you understand that as well?
Yeah, and I think it's really hard to come away from that because, like, say, like, I went to see my mum, and then, like, I've started, like, a TikTok, like, vlog channel, right? So just people can get to know me more. And, like, we were going out and we were feeding the lambs, and, like, that's what I genuinely needed to just make my childhood heart feel happy again, right? Because my adult heart, a bit broken right now because of all the stuff that's happened. So I'm like, oh, I need to go back to my parents' house. I need to, like, feed the lambs. And I was getting my phone out and I was, like, videoing it. And my mum was like, why are you doing that? She was like, just be here. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, oh. So it is, even social media, like, even if you don't do OnlyFans, it is just this bubble that you live in of everyone needs to see what I'm doing right now. Like, and it's worrying, and it's worrying for me, like, realizing that I'm doing it, because I think if I looked at my screen time, it would be so bad.
I'm the same, but then I use the excuse I need it for work.
Yeah, so do
I don't need
I.
to look at every fucking comment. I don't like at the views I'm pulling in, but I do because I care of how I'm perceived as well.
Yeah.
And no matter what I say, no matter how I'm working on ego, I've got pure ego. I'm a control freak, man. I'm a leader, man.
But it's the whole thing of every single human. I don't care who you are. You all you need is to be accepted and loved by people. Everyone is searching for, like, the acceptance of people is, like, really odd.
When is enough?
I've not got there yet, so I don't know. I'll tell you when I find out.
Yeah, hopefully you do that. Your TikTok, how did you get your TikTok popping? Nearly 2 million followers. That's a big fucking number, and there's not much.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. However you're playing the game very well with that. Like,
thank you.
The sexiness, the shown enough to get. It's just perverted. It's just something. But you've not got links to your OnlyFans and that. Why so?
So it goes to my Instagram, and then there's a link on my Instagram. So it's quite easy that way. But yeah, I don't know, because recently, as I say, I've started this vlogging channel, and that's mainly going towards girls, right? Because girls are the one who cares about a daily routine, or, like, what you're doing this activity. Guys don't really care about that. Guys will follow very quickly for, like, a sexual thing, and I feel like I've spent the past 2 years perfecting the sexual thing. It's like I could post anything. I know it'll get views. I know it'll get likes. I know it'll get comments, because I know how to give that sexualness of, like, making a guy want me, and, like, even what to do with my fucking eyes, like all of it, because it's a whole persona. And then when I go on to, like, my vlogging one, and, like, someone's, like, left a mean comment, I'm like, that hurts so much more. It's so much more of a deep cut, because, like, that's actually me. Do you know what I mean? Whereas this, when people leave a mean comment about something I'm doing that's sexual, I'm like, oh, whatever, cool.
How do you deal with the trolls?
Surprisingly, I don't get many. Like, I don't know how I've managed it. I've never had that much hate, and, like, I think I've been really lucky that way. I think the few times that I've had hate, it's really badly affected me, because I'm constantly looking for that validation, even if I want to, like, kid myself. Like, everyone is. And when if someone said something and other people have liked that comment or agreed with it, I'm like, oh my God, like, is that an actual issue with myself? Like the other day I got called fat, and I was like, I know I'm not fat, right? But then I was like, okay, I'll go on a diet, because, like, someone else liked it. And I was like, so if 2 people agree, like, and it can be really damaging. That was from one comment. So, like, that's not everyone commenting being, like, saying the same thing. But I don't know if, like, I've had quite a few friends who get a lot of trolls. I've had friends who will encourage the trolls, because that's how they get more engagement. That's how they get people over to their other pages. But it's just...
But I think with your stuff as well, it's the girl next door. You still got that innocence,
the
sweetness, where people, they'll not say nasty things. You've got girls out there who are quite in your face, and there's an energy about it.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing the game to a T. The character that you've built it's working.
But I think that's partly because it is me. Like, I feel like whenever anyone meets me, they're like, oh, like...
Do you know who you are, though, if I'm honest?
Yeah. I'd like to think so. I think I know who I am in a personal level. Everything online, to an extent, is a persona.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think if I was to, like, live alone on like a deserted island for a few weeks, I think I'd be like quite happy and content in myself. I don't think I'd get like really in my head about like I don't even know who I am. I think it's when I get too far deep into the bubble and caring about the numbers and the money, that's when I go, fuck, like I need to take a step back and I need to like deal with myself.
How does the OnlyFans work? If you're making 6 figures a month, how does it work with tax and all the others, the kind of the shady stuff around it?
Tax is a fucker. I do everything above board because I am terrified of HMRC. And I have got really good accountants. They're really lovely and they help with everything. But yeah, tax is like, it's like 20% of your earnings, like full stop. And then corporation tax, then self-employment tax, all of it is just... Yeah, that's a fucker. But as I say, I've been like really smart. So I give to charities every month. I work really closely with a few charities.
What charity? What do you do?
I work with a Korean meat dog charity. And it was actually someone up north. I fostered a Korean meat dog. And like we were just talking and I was like, yeah, I want to sponsor you. So now I give them something every month and they're able to like bring like a bunch of dogs over. And hopefully the end goal is to create a shelter in the UK that they can come over and decompress before they go into a household. But again, like it's not an owl, but like that's tax free, right? If you give however many thousands to a charity, like that's fine. What else? I've like since I earned my first 10K, I've put away for pensions, ISAs, like I've been really smart with my money, putting it into properties. Like I don't think I feel like I've got a good head on my shoulders.
Yeah, for a very young age and everything you've been through, you could be sitting here on the fucking crack pipe, alcohol, like people
thought of it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like it can you're too far gone, but like you say, you've still got your head on your shoulders, which is a good thing. It's just the only thing, been doing that consistently for another 10 years, it can be then become damaging. I've interviewed enough people to see there's something amiss in their eyes that I hopefully don't get caught up too much in it. Like, but how does it feel then being OnlyFans millionaire, like living the lavish lifestyle? Like, do you feel good about how far you've come also, especially what you've been through? So I give you credit for that. Like, do you feel good?
Yeah.
Or do you still feel as if it's not enough or something's not right?
I think again, you're always chasing something where the grass is greener. Like I feel good and I'm like really proud of myself. And I feel really good about the fact that it's not changed who I am. And like when I was younger and I heard anyone struggling, I'd be like, oh, I wish I just had something to give you. And now I can. But like you're always gonna chase, like if you're fulfilled in a work sense, like because I'm doing great there, that's fine. Like I'm really happy. And it's like, okay, well now I've like neglected myself. So now I need to take a step back from then. Like even if I have a 5-figure month, like that's not going to affect me. That's fine. Now I can invest more time into myself and make myself happier. And I think it's just finding the balance now that is hard because there's also so much pressure. Like if you're one of the top OnlyFans girls in the UK, right? Everyone, like, I don't mean below me as in like below me, but like everyone who is looking up to you is copying what you're doing. So like if you do fucking spin the wheel, a try on haul, whatever, you can guarantee that every OnlyFans girl in the UK is going to do that. If you do a professional TikTok, so like I think me and Elle were the first ones to make professional TikTok with like cameras, and everyone started that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's little things, but it's constantly finding something new that's the difficult thing. And I think it's got to a point now that the new thing is like being you. Like especially on TikTok, what I'm seeing is like the bigger things are the personality things. And it's really hard to get there. It's really hard to get a following for that because we're like brainwashed to just be sexual. And like, that's how you get a following. But I think like actually having your personality in it is like the next big thing. So
how did your relationship with Elle Brooks start?
We started working together in Simp Squad. I don't know if you know what that is. It was a girl group of me, Elle, Rhiannon, Bonnie, and Daisy Drew.
What was you doing?
It was like we did OnlyFans, TikTok, YouTube videos, everything. But it was actually like quite damaging.
Why?
Oh my God. Like, so we all got together and we were all making all these TikToks. We were making an OnlyFans. We did all of this stuff. And it was actually like it was really beneficial, like money wise, right? But we were having to get together for a whole week every month without fail to like have enough content. And within that week, was it a week? It was quite a while. It was a good like 4 or 5 days. Within that time, it was like, it was draining. Like it was a lot of work. And I think by like the 3rd month, everyone started being compared. There was a lot of hate comments. There was a lot of like comparing this girl to that girl, the blonde girls to the brunette girls, it was a lot of stuff like that. And then like everyone started putting in what work they were going to get done, right? So they were like, oh, well, I'm going to get lipo. I'm going to get BBL. Oh, I've just like had my whole face dissolved and I'm going to have it all put back in, but differently. I'm going to get like my teeth done. I'm going to get my bum done. Like, and it was like this one big, it was like getting all of these like personalities that were really big all clashed together and then compared to each other when like OnlyFans girls like are probably like, you will not meet an OnlyFans girl who's like, no, I've had a great childhood and I'm like really happy. I just thought it'd be fun. Like everyone's kind of damaged in their own way, right? Mm-hmm. And it was doing that and then putting it in like the most insecure environment that we could have been in. So then everyone got mega insecure, wanted to change everything about themselves. And then, yeah, it's probably not a good environment.
Have you had any work done?
No.
Because I've had Elle on, she's had her fanny and that done, tits, everything.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Yeah.
It's that industry. Like,
it's difficult.
Like I say, you've got your head screwed on.
Yeah.
I would tell you straight, you've got your head screwed on, you've done the right things, you've been through your misery and pain for the past. Listen, it's life, more shit's going to come.
Yeah.
Hopefully not as dark as what has been, but
yeah,
it's just the fucking circle of life, man. It's a mad roller coaster. Where do you go forward for the future? Like, you're fucking only 22, like, but where do you go? What's your, you get plans, you get visions? Like,
I want to go into property. I want to get to a point where I want a charity. I want to get to a point where like,
you want to save your dogs, don't you?
I want to save all animals. Like,
are you vegan?
I'm vegetarian. I can't give up cheese.
It's not bad. You listen, if you're vegan as well, there's more fucking animals and insects get killed being vegan and anything.
Like with
so
like palm oil and shit.
Yeah, so it's all people's trying to save the world, but you got to save yourself.
Yeah,
be ruthless and be.
And also, right? Do you know if I'm vegan, that's not going to make a difference. If I'm vegan when I have the choice, if I'm vegetarian when I have the choice, if you didn't eat red meat for 3 days out of the week, that would make the biggest difference rather than everyone being vegan. That would put the world in the opposite direction. Like just the same as if everyone ate red meat every single day of their life. If everyone was just like more aware of what they eat or where it came from, like then it's fine. Just be more aware of it. Like
for anybody that's watching, because you've been through some dark shit, you're still here smiling, you're still here making dough. Doesn't matter what we say. It does ease the pain a wee bit. It does fucking ease the pain a wee bit. Listen, it's not everything, but it does. If you're alright person, you can enjoy it and the finer things in life. But for anybody that's maybe went through something that you've went through and it's took you 10 years, and I seen earlier you were kind of hesitant towards it, I understand.
Yeah.
It's such a brave thing to do. This will go out to the masses so people will understand you. Like, it's not just all OnlyFans and speaking to fucking pervert. Sorry for anybody that's on OnlyFans, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
I believe this is only the start of an amazing career and an amazing journey that you're going to go through. But for anybody that's been in the struggle and maybe too scared to speak out, what advice would you have for them?
What's the worst that can happen? Honestly, like the worst that can happen is like you will be taken seriously. Someone will take you seriously, and like people will listen, people will believe you, and once it's out, that's the hard thing done, and then from there it's just, well, hopefully you fire up the ass for the other person. So.
Yeah, a bullet to the head.
Yeah, either or.
What's all your social media links, like Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, for people who want to get involved, come and see you, come and have a wee look, maybe send you pictures of fucking Walt Disney, whatever.
Oh my God, please send them. Yeah, that's the enjoyment. So my Instagram is It's Emily Black. My if you want, come on. I have like a bunch of different TikToks. There's Emily Black Talk, It's Emily Black X. Like there's a bunch of my OnlyFans is at EMBLACK, just M Black.
Emily, for coming on today and telling your story. Listen, massive strength. I appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you for having me
Maybe the
on.
OnlyFans and that, like, maybe you could be doing something a bit more constructive in life and later on. But I believe big things will happen. Like I say, you've got a kind heart, good soul. But would you like to finish up on anything?
I feel like I just want to point out, I feel like I've like made it like seem like the worst thing ever, and I've had the worst life ever. Like I genuinely am very like, I feel like I'm good. Yeah, I don't want to like come on and be like, yeah, I'm like the poor rich girl. Like I have a good life. It's happy. Like I know I'm very privileged and I'm like very grateful to everything. So if you've ever subscribed to my OnlyFans or follow me, like I very much appreciate everyone. I don't feel like I'm like hard done by any means. Yeah,
because you don't want to be a victim.
No.
As much as people can be, and so a lot of people are, it's hard not to. So a lot of people can live on it, and it can be dark, and it can destroy their whole life, and it's totally understandable. But like you say, you don't want to be here crying and here feel sorry for you. I get it. Like, everybody deals with different levels of trauma in different ways. So
I don't feel like I am a victim. Like I feel like bad shit happens to everyone, and like regardless of if you're drowning in a fucking tablespoon of water or a fucking river, like you're still drowning. Like everyone's issues are valid no matter what, and like you're fine. You will get on.
You tell them. Listen, for coming on today, wish you nothing but success for the future. God bless you and take care.